The rain lashed against the floor-to-ceiling windows of our Brooklyn loft like fists pounding on a locked door, demanding entry into the fragile world we'd built. Liam's hands trembled as he shoved another sweater into his duffel bag, the zipper's rasp cutting sharper than any goodbye I'd imagined. "I can't do this anymore, Mason," he said, his voice a raw whisper that splintered the air between us, eyes fixed on the floor as if looking at me might shatter him completely. In that instant, the year we'd stolen together, lazy Sundays in bed with coffee and vinyl records spinning Sinatra, stolen kisses under the glow of Coney Island lights, felt like a beautiful lie, unraveling thread by thread. I reached for him, my fingers brushing his arm, but he flinched like I'd struck him, and that's when I knew. Whatever ghost haunted him had finally clawed its way between us, hungry and unforgiving. I stood there in the dim glow of the loft's Edison bulbs, the kind we'd hung ourselves on a whim during that humid August weekend when everything felt possible. The air smelled of damp concrete and the faint citrus of Liam's cologne, now mocking me as it clung to the space he'd soon vacate. Our place was a converted warehouse in Williamsburg, all exposed brick and salvaged wood, the kind of spot that screamed young and in love to anyone scrolling Zillow. But tonight, it echoed with the hollowness of endings I hadn't seen coming. "Liam, wait," I pleaded, my voice steadier than I felt. I'd always been the rock, the one who planned our road trips upstate, who mapped out brunches at that hole-in-the-wall diner in the village where the pancakes were bigger than our egos. He was the dreamer, sketching charcoal portraits of strangers on the subway, his laughter a melody that could disarm even the grumpiest bodega cat. How had we gotten here, to this precipice where his bags bulged with the life we'd woven together? He paused, shoulders slumping under the weight of his faded NYU hoodie, the one I'd bought him as a joke after his art school rejection letter, back when rejections were just footnotes, not fractures. "It's not you, Mace. It's never been you." His green eyes, usually sparkling like the East River at sunrise, were dulled, rimmed red from tears he wouldn't let fall. He zipped the bag with finality, the sound echoing like a gavel. I crossed the room in 3 strides, the hardwood cool under my bare feet. We'd danced here barefoot 100 times, his head on my shoulder to the hum of old jazz from his vintage record player. Now, I cupped his face, thumbs tracing the familiar line of his jaw. "Then talk to me. A year, Liam. We've survived blackouts, my sister's wedding drama, that god-awful flu that had us quarantined for 2 weeks. What's one more storm?" He pulled back, gentle but firm, like handling fragile glass. "Some storms you don't weather. You run from them." His words hung there, heavy as the thunder rumbling over the bridge outside. He slung the bag over his shoulder and headed for the door, pausing only to grab his keys from the hook shaped like a treble clef, a thrift store find from our first date. The door clicked shut behind him, and the rain seemed to weep harder, blurring the city lights into a watercolor smear. I sank onto the couch, the cushions still molded to our shapes from last night's movie marathon, before sunrise because he loved the idea of what-ifs. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. A text from my best friend, Theo, the bartender at our favorite speakeasy in the East Village. "Heard the thunder. You okay? Beer's on me." I typed back a thumbs up, but it was a lie. The loft felt cavernous now, shadows pooling in corners where his easel used to stand. Liam had been pulling away for weeks. Small things at first, like canceling our Friday night gallery hops, claiming headaches that aspirin couldn't touch. Then bigger. Sleeping on the edge of the bed, his back a wall I couldn't scale. I chalked it up to his latest freelance gig drying up, the freelance illustrator life in New York being a feast or famine beast. But this was Exodus. I wandered to the window, pressing my forehead against the cool glass. Below, umbrellas bobbed like black mushrooms along Bedford Avenue, cabs splashing through puddles. Liam would be down there soon, hailing a ride to God knows where. His sisters in Queens? A motel in Jersey? The thought twisted like a knife. We'd met at a Pride Parade float party 2 years back. Him in a rainbow feather boa that tickled my nose when we kissed for the first time. Fireworks exploded over the Hudson that night, but nothing compared to the spark in his eyes. Flashback hit me like a rogue wave. Our first Christmas, stringing lights on that scrawny tree from the lot on Kent Avenue. Him burning the gingerbread men because he got distracted kissing me. "You're my home, Mace," he'd murmured then. Snow flurrying outside as we curled up with hot toddies. Home. What a cruel word now. My phone rang Mom. From her ranch style in suburban Ohio. The one place I'd fled at 18 with a duffel and a dream of Broadway that fizzled into graphic design gigs. "Mason, you sound like hell. What's going on?" I hesitated, throat tight. Coming out to her had been a battlefield. Tears, silence, then reluctant hugs at family Thanksgivings. She'd come around, mostly mailing rainbow socks on Pride Month. But spilling this? Liam left, just packed up and went. Pause, then her sigh warm as apple pie. "Oh, honey, drive safe if you're chasing him. But remember, love isn't a chain. Chasing." The word ignited something. I grabbed my jacket, the leather one he'd patched with elbow pads after a biking mishap in Prospect Park. Keys in hand, I bolted down the stairs, ignoring the elevator's groan. The lobby smelled of garlic from Mrs. Rossi's Italian feast upstairs, a reminder of block parties where Liam charmed the neighbors with his sketches. Outside, the rain soaked me in seconds, but I spotted him at the corner. Duffel slung low, hand raised for a cab. "Liam!" My shout cut through the downpour, raw and desperate. He turned, water streaming down his face like tears he couldn't hide anymore. The cab pulled up, yellow as a warning. For a heartbeat, our eyes locked, mine begging, his fracturing. Then he slid in, the door slamming like a verdict. Taillights blurred red as it merged into traffic, leaving me drenched and alone on the slick sidewalk. I trudged back up, peeling off wet clothes in the bathroom mirror. My reflection stared back. 28, broad-shouldered from weekend hikes in the Palisades, but eyes hollowed by the kind of ache that settles in bones. Towel around my waist, I rifled through his side of the closet. Half empty now, but a forgotten sketchbook tumbled out. I flipped it open on the bed, heart pounding. Pages of us. Me laughing at a street fair, him capturing the curve of my smile. Our hands intertwined on a ferry to Staten Island, lines soft and intimate. But deeper in, the drawings shifted dark, jagged strokes of shadowed figures, hands reaching but never touching, eyes hollow with unspoken pleas. One page, dated last month. A man alone in a storm, face obscured, but the posture? It was him or someone he carried inside. Who was this Liam I didn't know? The boy who'd whispered, "I love you," under the stars at Governor's Island. Or this stranger fleeing into the night. I closed the book, but the images lingered, pulling me under like the tide. Sleep evaded me that night, the rain a relentless lullaby. By dawn, the city stirred. Horns blaring, vendors calling for bagels. I brewed coffee strong as regret, scrolling our texts. "Miss you already from yesterday," innocuous now. Theo's invite burned. "Come to the bar. We'll plot his return." I showered, dressed in jeans and a Henley that smelled faintly of him, and headed out. The subway rattled toward the East Village, each jolt a reminder of rides home from dates. His head on my shoulder. Theo's place, the Whispering Oak, was a basement dive with velvet curtains and craft cocktails named after poets. Our haunt since college. He spotted me through the haze of morning prep, sliding a whiskey neat across the scarred oak bar. "Rough night, huh?" "Spill." I did, words tumbling like loose change. The packing, the flinch, the cab vanishing into the gray. Theo listened, polishing glasses with a rag that had seen better days, his tattooed arms flexing. Reminders of his own wild youth before settling with his husband in a co-op uptown. "Sounds like he's running from more than you," Theo said finally, leaning on the bar. Liam's always had that faraway look, like he's half in another world. "Remember that tattoo he got last summer? The wave crashing on a cliff." I nodded, tracing the spot on my own arm where I'd matched it with a compass rose. "Thought it was about us weathering life together." Theo snorted, pouring a chaser. "Art boys and their metaphors. But seriously, Mace. Give him space but don't let go. New York's too big for ghosts." Space. The word chafed. I nursed the drink, the burn steadying me. By noon, the bar filled with lunch crowd, suits escaping Midtown, artists nursing hangovers. I sketched idly on a napkin, a habit from Liam's influence. A lone figure in the rain, reaching. My phone vibrated. A voicemail from an unknown number. Heart leaping, I played it. Not Liam. A social worker's clipped voice. Mr. Harlan? This is regarding Liam Whitaker. There's been an incident. Please call back. Incident. The word detonated in my chest. What the hell had he done? I dialed, pulse thundering, as the city noise faded to a buzz. The social worker's office was a beige box in a Queens community center. Fluorescent lights buzzing like trapped flies, posters on teen suicide and domestic violence peeling at the edges. I'd taken the G train out, the car half empty with strap hangers scrolling feeds, oblivious to the panic clawing my gut. Incident. It echoed with car crashes, overdoses, nightmares I'd never voiced about Liam's late-night sketching in dive bars. Ms. Rivera, a no-nonsense Latina in her 40s with a badge clipped to her cardigan, ushered me into a side room smelling of stale coffee and printer ink. Mr. Harlan, thanks for coming so quick. Liam's stable, but he's asked for you. Stable. The word was a lifeline but frayed. What happened? Is he hurt? She steepled her fingers, eyes kind but guarded. Overdose attempt. Pills, his antidepressants, looks like. Found him at his sister's place around 3 a.m. by a neighbor hearing the commotion. The room tilted. Overdose. Liam, with his infectious grin at poetry slams, his habit of quoting Whitman over breakfast? My mind reeled to last week. Him zoning out during our walk in McCarran Park, claiming, just tired. The signs, God. I'd missed them, chalked up to artist's blues. Can I see him? My voice cracked, hands fisting in my lap. She nodded, leading me down a hall lined with abstract murals, hopeful swirls in primary colors. Liam's room was sparse. Bed, nightstand, window overlooking a parking lot dotted with chain link. He lay there, pale as the sheets, for lines snaking to his arm, monitors beeping a steady rhythm. Bruises shadowed his eyes, lips chapped, but alive, breathing. I sank into the chair, taking his hand, cool, limp. Hey, you idiot! I whispered, thumb stroking his knuckles. Scared the shit out of me. His eyelids fluttered, green irises hazy as he focused. Mace, shouldn't be here. Weak, but him. Like hell. You think you get to ghost me and then pull this? Anger flared, hot and protective, mingling with relief that made my chest ache. A ghost of a smile. Pulling away's my specialty. We sat in silence, the beeps marking time. Nurses came and went, checking vitals, murmuring about psych eval. Eventually he spoke, voice gravel. Remember that summer in Ohio? Your folks' lake house. I squeezed his hand. The one where you taught me to skip stones? Yeah. You were so bad at it. Kept sinking on the first bounce. A chuckle, feeble. I envied that, your ease. Like nothing weighed you down. The words unlocked something. A door I'd sensed but never forced. What weighs you down, Liam? Talk to me. No running this time. He turned to the window, rain pattering like distant applause. Not here. Not like this. But it was a start. They kept him 72 hours for observation, protocol for attempts. I crashed at his sister's. Elena. A nurse with a no BS vibe and a toddler who smeared oatmeal on my jeans. Her place was a cozy walk-up in Astoria. Icons of saints on walls. Fridge stocked with empanadas. He loves you, you know? She said over chamomile that night, her accent thick as the steam. But Mama's shadows long. Mama, Liam's mom, died when he was 12, cancer that ate her from the inside. He'd mentioned it in passing, sketches of her laugh lines buried in drawers. But Shadow? Elena's eyes held stories she wouldn't spill yet. I visited daily, bringing his sketchbook, vending machine comics. We talked surface stuff. The hospital jello tasting like regret, plans for fall foliage drives if he promised no more stunts. Underneath, tension simmered. His flinches when I leaned close, the way he'd withdraw into himself like a turtle. Discharge day, I drove him back to the loft in my beat-up Civic, the one with the dent from that fender bender on the BQE. Queens to Brooklyn felt eternal. Radio humming low with NPR on climate reports. "We're okay," I said, hand on his knee. "Couples therapy? Whatever it takes." He nodded, staring at the passing warehouses. "I want to be." The loft welcomed us like an old friend. Plants thirstier than we'd left them. Mail piled like unanswered questions. I ordered Thai from the Spot On with pad CU extra wide for him. We ate on the couch, forks clinking, TV droning a Law and Order rerun. Normalcy fragile as rice paper. That night, he showered first, emerging in boxers and my old Mets tee hair damp curls. I pulled him to bed, arms around his waist from behind, spooning like always. "Love you," I murmured into his neck. "Love you too." But his body tensed, a subtle armor. Morning brought routine. Coffee, me at my desk job, freelance layouts for indie mags, him at the kitchen table, sketching. I peeked over, waves again, crashing relentless. "Tell me about it," I ventured, pouring his mug. He capped the pencil, exhaling slow. "Later. Promise." Work dragged, pixels blurring on my screen as worry looped. Theo texted, "How's the patient?" Bar tab open. I shot back a heart emoji, but inside questions churned. Elena had hinted at Mama's shadow. Abuse? Secrets? Liam's dad was a blank, vanished post-divorce, or so the story went. Evening, I found him on the fire escape, cigarette between fingers, rare vice, post-stress only. The city sprawled below, bridges twinkling like veins. I joined, legs dangling, our thighs brushing. "Remember our first fight? Over that stupid Call Me by Your Name adaptation. You hated the swimming scenes." He laughed, smoke curling. "They sanitized it. Life's not that pretty." "Neither's this." I gestured between us. "But we're in it." His face softened, then shuddered. "What if I'm poison, Mace? What if I drag you under? Then we drown together." Bold words, but true. I kissed his temple, tasting salt. Weeks blurred into a tentative rhythm. Therapy. His first, a queer-affirming shrink in Chelsea named Dr. Patel. All warm chai and no judgment. I went 2 solo sessions unpacking my codependency, the fear of abandonment wired from Dad's early heart attack. Group hikes in the Catskills, where leaves turned gold, his hand in mine on root-strewn paths, but cracks spiderwebbed. One night, post-dinner at a trattoria in Carroll Gardens. Candlelit, Chianti flowing. He froze mid-bite, fork hovering. "Sorry," he muttered, paling. Flashback. To what? Pressed, gentle. "Nothing. Old stuff." But his eyes darted, haunted. I let it slide, but it gnawed. Betrayal brewed. Not his, but mine, in the silence I allowed. Friends noticed. Theo cornering me at the bar. "He's half gone, man. Dig deeper or lose him." Dig I did one rainy Tuesday. Home early from a client call, I found the sketchbook open on his easel. That dark figure again, but clearer. A boy, maybe 10, cowering from a looming shadow, hand raised in threat. Below, scrawled in faded ink. "Not your fault, baby. Daddy's just tired." The date, 2005. Daddy. The ghost had a name. Heart slamming, I closed it, guilt flooding. Invasion, yes, but truth serum. Liam came in then, dripping from a bodega run, bag of subs swinging. His eyes hit the book, color draining. "You saw." "Yeah." No denial. "Talk. Now." He dropped the bag, sinking to the floor, back to the wall. Words spilled then. Torrent. Dad. A Brooklyn cop turned alcoholic after September 11th. PTSD festering into rage. Nights of shouts. Belts cracking. Mom's pleas muffled by walls. He'd come home reeking of whiskey, eyes wild. I'd hide under the bed, but he'd find me. "Toughen up, boy," he'd slur. After Mom died, it got worse. "Beat the fag out of me," he said. Long before I even knew what that meant. The pieces slotted. The flinches, the waves, symbols of overwhelm crashing. Why hide it? From me? You see me as whole, Mace, not broken. Tears tracked his cheeks, voice breaking. I pulled away because loving you meant risking you'd see the wreckage. And leave. I knelt, pulling him close, his sobs soaking my shirt. Idiot. Wrecks are what we fix together. That night, we held each other, stories weaving into dawn. But dawn brought resolve, and the first thread of unraveling. Fall deepened in New York, the air crisp with the promise of change, leaves carpeting the parks in crimson and amber. Liam and I threw ourselves into mending, couple sessions with Dr. Patel, where we unpacked his trauma like fragile artifacts, handling with care. Vulnerability isn't weakness, she'd say. Her voice a steady anchor in the therapy room's potted ferns and diffused light. Liam nodded, but doubt lingered in his tightened jaw, the way he'd grip my hand under the table like a lifeline. We celebrated small victories. His first gallery submission since the attempt, abstract waves in blues and grays that whispered rather than screamed. The opening was at a Soho space, white walls humming with murmured critiques, champagne flutes clinking like fragile toasts. I stood by his side in a borrowed blazer, beaming as collectors nodded approval. Proud of you, I whispered, nuzzling his ear amid the crowd. His smile was genuine, electric. Couldn't without you. Later, in a cab home, his hand on my thigh, we recaptured that spark. Kisses heated but tender, falling into bed with laughter and sighs. For a moment the world righted, but shadows lengthened before nightfall. Elena called midweek, voice-edged. Mace, you gotta come. Dad's in town. Dad. The word soured my coffee. Liam's father, Victor Whitaker, retired NYPD, now a grizzled fixture in some Florida trailer park, or so the tales went. Liam had cut ties years ago, post a final blowout that left him black and blue and couch-surfing my freshman dorm. What does he want? Liam asked, paling over speakerphone. Says he's dying. Liver. Wants to make amends. Elena's sigh crackled. I told him no, but he's persistent. Showed up at my shift yesterday. Liam's face shuddered, fork stabbing pasta. Tell him to rot. But rot doesn't knock politely. 2 days later, as we prepped for a harvest festival in Union Square, pumpkin spice lattes and hay bales, I got the text from an unknown. Tell my boy I'm sorry. V.W. Attached, a photo. An older man, weathered face under a ball cap, standing outside our loft building, coffee cup in hand. Panic surged. He's here, I said, showing Liam. We were in the kitchen, apple pie cooling on the sill, a recipe from my mom, our first joint baking since the split. He stared, then crumpled the napkin. How'd he find us? Public records? Elena? Guilt flashed. Had she slipped? We barricaded emotionally. Deadbolts checked, blinds drawn. But Victor was a siege engine. Notes appeared under the door. Handwritten pleas on yellow legal pad. Son, I was sick. Now 8 years. Let me explain. Calls to Liam's burner. He'd switched post-attempt. Voicemails gravelly with regret. Liam deleted them unheard, but tension coiled. Sleep fractured. He'd jolt awake, murmuring apologies to phantoms. Our lovemaking turned urgent, seeking solace in skin, but afterward, he'd stare at the ceiling, distant. Theo hosted a guys' night at the bar, distraction via IPAs and pool. Family's a bitch, he commiserated, chalking cue. His own dad had disowned him at coming out, reconciliation a work in progress. Boundaries, man. But forgiveness? That's the gut punch. Liam, 3 beers in, laughed it off. Forgive? He'd have to grow a soul first. Yet doubt seeded. One evening, post-shift at a coffee shop gig he'd picked up, Liam came home hollow-eyed. Found this in my locker. A letter typed neat. I know about the pills, kid. Proud you fought back. Like I should have taught you. Coffee? Neutral ground, Tompkins Square. Noon Saturday. He burned it in the sink. Flame dancing blue. But ashes lingered in the drain. Saturday dawned brittle. Frost etching windows. I had a design deadline. Laptop glowing in the loft's nook. Go if you want, I said, neutral as Switzerland. Closure's not weakness. He paced, boots scuffing rug. And if it's a trap? More lies. Then walk. You're the captain now. He went. I waited, fingers drumming, sketching aborted waves. Hours ticked. 1 p.m. Text. Okay. Shaken. 2 p.m. Door opens. Liam, cheeks flushed from chill, eyes red-rimmed. Talk, I said, pulling him to the couch. Words poured. Victor, aged 62. Liver cirrhosis etching lines deeper than regret. AA chip polished in pocket. Stories of hitting rock bottom. Lost badge. Lost family. He cried, Mace. Apologized for the beatings, the slurs. Said the bottle made him a monster. But he sees now. The gay son he tried to fix was always perfect. Relief? Rage? Liam's voice wobbled between. Part of me wanted to deck him. But he looked small. Broken. I held him, rocking slow. You're not obligated to anything. That night, we walked the promenade. Manhattan skyline jagged against twilight. His hand in mine, we fed ducks stale bread from a vendor. Maybe one coffee, he mused. Test the waters. Waters proved treacherous. Victor ingratiated. Weekly meets at diners. Tales of cop glory days laced with amends. Liam softened. Sharing sketches. Laughs tentative. I tagged along once, at a greasy spoon in Midtown. Victor's grip firm on my hand. Take care of my boy. But his eyes appraised, old cop instincts probing. Jealousy? No fear. Liam glowed post-meets, but crashed after, sketching furious. Am I forgiving too fast? He'd ask, head in my lap. Only you know. I'd soothe, fingers in his hair. Then, betrayal's blades slipped in quiet. Mid-November, Thanksgiving loomed. My family's Ohio pull versus Elena's spread. We chose family fusion, her place with my mom zooming pie tips. Prep day, Liam's phone buzzed. Victor. Join us? Turkey in the park, just us. He showed me guilty. 1 hour. For Elena's kid, grandpa stories. I nodded, masking the twist. Go. I'll handle the bird. He returned windswept, eyes bright. It was normal. Like a family. Normal. The word stung. That night, over Elena's table, candlelight on tamales and stuffing, Liam animated, recounting Victor's bad jokes. Laughter flowed, but mine caught, brittle. Later, in bed, he reached for me. You okay? Fine. But the distance yawned. Cracks widened. December crept, holidays glittering cruel. Victor's gifts arrived. A leather-bound sketch journal, inscribed to my artist. Liam treasured it, but hid the note inside. Proud of the man you are. I found it rifling for Advil, innocent but the intimacy gutted. My artist. Who's now? Confrontation brewed over eggnog at Theo's holiday bash. Tinsel-draped bar. Queer carols remixed. Liam tipsy, Victor texting under table. He's trying, Mace. Trying to what? Erase the past. Whiskey loosened my tongue. His face fell. You don't get it. This is healing. And us? Cracking. Words escaped. Sharp. He recoiled. Maybe I need space to heal. Without. Pressure. Pressure. The echo of our first split. Party noise faded as he grabbed coat. Vanishing into snow. I chased. Streets slick with slush. Shouts lost in wind. Home alone, I scrolled old photos. Us at winter jam, scarves tangled. Tears hot, I called Elena. He's slipping back. Her paws heavy. Victor's spinning tales. Says Liam's always been dramatic. Watch him. Doubt poisoned. Next day, Liam returned. Apology in takeout foe. Sorry. Overwhelmed. We patched, but glue weakened. Climax loomed. New Year's Eve ticking like a bomb. New Year's Eve in New York is a beast. Times Square's frenzy, a siren's call of confetti and countdowns. But we opted low-key. Rooftop at Theo's husband's co-op in Harlem, string lights and soul music drifting over brownstones. Liam and I arrived arm in link. His new scarf. Gift from Victor, cashmere soft. A subtle wedge. Looks good, I said, forcing cheer. The party pulsed. Queer couples two-stepping to Nina Simone. Punch spiked with rum. Theo pulled me aside, eyebrow arched. You two seem stitched. Threads holding, I admitted, sipping spiked cider. Liam mingled, charm dialed up, but his laughs rang hollow when he glanced my way. Midnight neared, crowd thinning to the diehards. Fireworks cracked over the skyline, auld lang syne swelling. I found him by the railing, city sprawl glittering below. Hey! He turned, snowflakes catching in his lashes. Hey! Kiss at midnight, soft, familiar, but he pulled back first, eyes distant. Mace, we need to talk. Dread pooled. Now? After. But after never came. We cabbed home silent, his head against window, reflection ghostly. Loft dark, coats shed, he paced kitchen. Victor's moving back. To Brooklyn. Apartment in Bed-Stuy. Wants family dinners. Regular. Family. The word barbed. And us. Your family too. But hesitation laced it. I leaned on counter, granite cold. Feels like sides. No sides. He reached, but I stepped back. First time ever. Then why hide texts? Why glow when he calls? Dim when it's me. His face crumpled. Because he sees the broken parts and stays. You see the mask. Lies. Anger surged. I see you. All of you. The kid under the bed, the artist crashing waves. I stayed through the pills, the pullaways. And I love you for it. Voice breaking. But forgiving him is mine. Without your judgment. Judgment? The accusation stung. It's fear, Liam, of losing the version of us without ghosts. He laughed, bitter. Ghosts are family too. Door slam echoed, him grabbing keys, storming out into the witching hour. I followed, but streets swallowed him, snow muffling cries. Dawn found me on the couch, phone dead, worry carving hollows. Elena's call shattered silence. Liam's with Dad. Fight bad. Says you're holding him back. Holding back. Betrayals bloom, thorny. Victor spin. Me the villain chaining his boy. I drove to Bed-Stuy. Tires crunching ice. Heart leaden. The apartment was a walk-up brownstone. Stoop salted. Buzzer labeled Whitaker. Victor answered, shirt untucked. Eyes wary. Mason. Liam here. Nod, stepping aside. Inside, threadbare rugs, cop memorabilia on shelves, badges, photos of younger Victor in blues. Liam on couch, knees up, sketchbook clutched like shield. Go, Liam said, not meeting eyes. This is my mess. Our mess. I knelt, voice low. Don't let him rewrite us. Victor cleared throat from kitchenette. Kid needs space, son. From everyone. Son. Possessive. With respect, you've had 12 years to fuck this up. My turn to fix. Liam's head snapped up, eyes flashing. Fix me? Like Dad tried. The room iced. Victor stiffened, but I pressed. Love you, not fix. But this. Gesture encompassing. It's poison seeping back. Words ignited. Liam rose, voice rising. You don't know. The letters, the calls, he's changed. And you? Jealous of a dying man. Jealous. No, terrified. It's betrayal, Liam. Choosing his amends over our year. Year. Scoff. Feels like a sentence lately. Victor interjected. Hand on Liam's shoulder. Protective, paternal. Easy, boy. The touch innocent. Snap something. Get off him. My voice low thunder. Victor bristled. This my home. Then make it his prison too? Venom spilled. You broke him once. Don't again. Chaos erupted. Shouts overlapping. Liam between. Tears streaming. Stop. Both of you. He chose. Pushing Victor back. Grabbing my arm. Out. Now. We tumbled to stoop. Breath fogging. Snow swirling. Mace, I can't. Can't what? Love me enough. Raw exposed. Love you too much. Whisper. To drag you into this war. War. His internal, now ours. He retreated inside. Door clicking shut. Metaphoric lock. Days blurred. Radio silence. My texts unread. Work suffered. Designs garish. Clients emailing rework. Theo dragged me to AA meetings, not for booze but codependency circles, sharing in basements scented with folding chairs. Letting go, the leader droned. Easier preached. Elena bridged. He's a mess. Dad's pushing therapy, family sessions. Says you're toxic influence. Toxic. Victor's echo. I confronted her at park playground, her toddler on swings. He's manipulating, she sighed, pushing chain. Maybe, but Liam's thawing. First time since mom. Thaw or relapse. I tailed once. Shadow in coffee shop window. Liam and Victor, heads bent over menus, laughter peeling. Gutted, I fled. Climax crested mid-January, polar vortex gripping the city in iron. Call from hospital, Liam again. Not attempt. Collapse, stress-induced, panic attack escalating to arrhythmia. I raced to Mount Sinai, corridors sterile, white heart hammering. Elena in waiting room, face ashen. Victor triggered it. Pushed too hard on moving in together. Victor, absent. Where's he? Out. Smoking, probably. Fury boiled. I stormed halls, finding him in courtyard, cigarette glowing like accusation. You did this. He exhaled smoke, eyes hard. Kid needs tough love. Tough? You mean breaking? I lunged, fists clenched, but Theo's words held. Boundaries. Inside, Liam stabilized, room dim. I sat vigil, holding hand as machines hummed. Mace. Groan. Here. Tears. Sorry, Dad. He promised change, but it's the same controlling, guilting. I fell for it. Relief crashed. We all do. But you're out now. Nod, weak. Out. For good. Victor returned then, flowers wilting in grip. Door open to our glares. Liam. Leave. Liam's voice, steel. Amends noted. But trust? Earned over years, not weeks. Victor deflated. Flowers dropping. I tried. Trying, starting. Liam's eyes met mine, anchor. Go. Door shut. Final. Victor's footsteps faded. Snow muffling. We healed slow. Liam's discharge to loft. My arms his haven. Therapy doubled, individual, joint. Spring teased, crocuses pushing concrete. But scars puckered. One night, over stir-fry, his recipe ginger sharp, he paused. What if I can't forgive myself? For believing him. Then we carry it. I kissed knuckles. Together. Love rekindled. Tentative. Walks in blooming Sakura Park. Sketches of us intertwined. Betrayal's echo faded, but taught. Love isn't blind. It's brave, seeing wreckage and building anyway. Spring unfurled in Brooklyn like a hesitant apology. Cherry blossoms shedding pink confetti on sidewalks. The air warming with grill smoke and street fair buzz. Liam and I emerged from winter's grip, tentative explorers in our own rebuilt world. The loft transformed. His easel reclaimed center stage, canvases blooming with color. Waves now ebbing, gentle curves suggesting peace rather than peril. My designs sharpened, inspired by his resilience. Clients praising that emotional edge. We marked the shift with a ritual. Erasing Victor's number from Liam's phone. A digital exorcism over takeout pizza on the fire escape. To new chapters. I toasted with a beer, clinking his. Without footnotes, he added, grin crooked but real. Therapy evolved. Dr. Patel beaming at our progress reports, assigning vulnerability dates. Sharing fears over picnics in Prospect Park, where dog walkers and frisbee tossers formed a joyful blur. Liam confessed residuals. Nightmares of belts cracking, waking sweat slick. I'd hold him, murmuring, safe now, until dawn painted the room gold. Friends circled wagons. Theo hosted a rebirth bash. Backyard barbecue in his co-op garden. String lights twinkling against ivy walls. Elena brought her kid, who finger-painted Liam's jeans with berry juice, eliciting his first belly laugh in months. Uncle Mace, the tot demanded, tugging me into a conga line. Laughter healed, stitching us tighter. But humanism whispers, growth isn't linear. May brought a curveball Liam's gallery show, the one postponed from fall. Waves of Return, he titled it. pieces chronicling crash to calm. Opening night at the Soho Space buzzed. Critics sipping Pinot, flashbulbs popping. I hovered peripheral, pride swelling as he fielded questions, voice steady. "This one's for the boy who hid," he said, gesturing at turbulent blue. "I's met mine, gratitude, love." Post-show, after-party at a dive in Nolita. Shots of tequila, toasts to the survivor. Liam pulled me to alley shadows, kiss fierce under neon buzz. "You saw me through," he breathed. "Always." Hands roamed, but tender, reclaiming without rush. Yet, echoes lingered. A letter arrived weeks later. Victor's handwriting, postmarked Florida. "Heard about the show. Proud. If you ever." Doors open. Liam read it aloud, voice even, then folded it into origami crane, setting it on windowsill. Bookmark, not chapter. I nodded, but inside vigilance. Forgiveness's edge is sharp, cut too deep, it bleeds. Summer scorched in, humidity thick as unspoken fears. We escaped to my folks' lake house in Ohio, road trip in the Civic, windows down, playlist heavy on the Nationals' brooding anthems. The drive was therapy. Pit stops at diners for pie, stories swapped like mile markers. "Remember skipping stones?" Liam asked, arms slung over seat. "You called me hopeless." I grinned. "Hopeful now?" His fingers laced mine over gearshift. Ohio welcomed. Mom's hugs bone-crushing, Dad's grill mastery yielding burgers charred just right. Lake shimmered, willows dipping toes. We canoed at dusk, paddles dipping sink, fireflies winking approval. Nights, screened porch swing creaking under us, stars vast. "This normal," Liam murmured, head on my shoulder. "Our normal." Kiss soft, lake lapping lullaby. But normal fractures. Dad pulled me aside one morning, fishing rods in hand. His ritual. Boys healing. Trying. Cast line arcing. Dad reeled slow. "Your ma and I, we fought demons too. Early years after my bypass. Thought I'd lost her trust." I stilled. "Dad, stoic farmer's son. Vulnerable? How'd you mend?" "Truth. Every day. Real click. And grace for the stumbles." Grace. Word stuck as we drove back. Liam dozing beside. Victor's open door. Grace or Grenade? Back in Brooklyn, heat wave peaked. News broke. Cop scandal, old NYPD brutality tapes surfacing. Echoes of Victor's era. Liam saw, froze mid-channel surf. His world. We turned off, opting for ice cream run. Cone melting on stoop, kids splashing hydrants. But seed planted, confrontations pull. Elena visited, toddler in tow, bearing plantains and warnings. Dad's relapsed. Calls me drunk. Ranting regrets. Her eyes pleaded. "Don't tell Liam?" But secrets fester. I held, but guilt gnawed. Another shadow? August storm hit. Thunder rattling windows, power flickering. Liam sketched by candlelight, me reading Kerouac aloud. Cozy, until knock rattled door. Insistent. Victor soaked, eyes wild. Need to see him. Heart dropped. Not tonight. He's my son. Slur faint, breath whiskey. Liam appeared, towel draped from shower. Face drained. "Dad." Talk through crack. Victor's pleas slurred. "Lonely, sorry. Come home." Liam's voice steel. "Home's here. Sober up." Door shut, bolt thrown. Victor pounded once, twice, then silence, footsteps retreating. Liam slid down wall, shaking. "Close." I held, rocking. "You were strong." Morning, Elena confirmed. Victor checked into rehab voluntary after the binge. "You're doing," she texted Liam. Proud. Relief but rift. Liam withdrew slight. Sketches darkening. Touches hesitant. "What if it's genetic?" he voiced one night, wine glass stem twisting. "The pull to self-destruct. Not you." Firm. Choice, every time. But doubts whisper. Betrayal's second act. Self-inflicted. Labor Day weekend, we camped Adirondacks. Tent pitched by Ausable River, stars unpolluted. Bonfire crackled, marshmallows toasting golden. Stories flowed. His first crush, a lifeguard at Coney. My Broadway flop audition, tears in dressing room. Regrets? I asked, embers glowing. Pulling away, his hand in mine. From you. Forgiven. Kiss sealed. Return brought clarity. Joint letter to Victor. Boundaries drawn. Love conditional on sobriety. Mailed, done. Autumn hinted. Leaves edging gold. Liam's next show loomed bigger. MoMA PS1 scout interested. We prepped. Excitement electric. But climax's shadow. Elena's call. October Eve. Dad's out. Crashed car, DUI. Critical. Liam went pale. I have to. Us. I corrected. Hospital vigil. ICU beeps, antiseptic sting. Victor tubed. Monitors frantic. Elena wept. Liam stone. Holding vigil. Night deepened. Victor stirred. Eyes fluttering on Liam. Son. Words garbled. But clear. Sorry. Love. You. Liam broke then. Sobs wrenching. My arms his harbor. I know. Victor slipped away pre-dawn. Peaceful, chart said. Heart failure, compounded. Funeral small. Queen's cemetery. Autumn wind whipping. Liam spoke. Eulogy brief. Honest. Rage. Regret. Glimmers of good. He tried at end. Graveside. Elena hugged us. Family still. Back to loft. Empty ache. Liam grieved raw. Days Abed. Sketches abstract grief. I cooked, held space. Love's quiet work. November thawed him. Walks in falling leaves. Coffee steam curling. Thank you, he said one dusk. Bridgeview. For seeing the trauma. Staying. Wouldn't elsewhere. Hand squeeze. Humanism's arc. Not erasure. Integration. Victor's ghost integrated lesson, not chain. Winter returned gentle that year. First snow a feather dusting on Thanksgiving. Blanketing the city in hush. Liam and I hosted Elena's crew at the loft. Table groaning with turkey, arepas, my mom's cranberry relish Zoom shared. Laughter rang truer. Toddler's chaos a bomb. Toasts to absent. Victor with grace. Mom, beaming virtual. Post-feast cleanup dance. Liam sudsing dishes, me drying, hips bumping to holiday jazz. Normal again? He teased, bubbles on nose. Better. Kiss salty sweet. Grief's waves ebbed, but crested unexpected. Sorting Victor's effects. Elena's box delivered. Medals, letters, a photo album yellowed. Liam flipped, pausing at one. Boy Liam, maybe 8. Gap-toothed grin on Dad's shoulders. Coney boardwalk backdrop. Before, he murmured. Still you. I traced the smile. Album yielded truths. Victor's own trauma. 9/11 responder. Towers falling shadows in his eyes. Letters to mom. Precancer. Love you fierce. Scared I'll break us. Cycle revealed not excuse but echo. Liam kept the photo, framing it beside our waves canvas. Human, huh? Messy all. December glittered. Tree from Kent Lot. Fuller now. Ornaments handmade. Our hands work. Lighting ceremony. Vinyl crooning Bing Crosby. Gifts thoughtful. For me, leather journal inscribed to my anchor Mason who sees me whole. Love, Liam. Tears pricked. Mine. Compass-etched watch. Direction home. Pride in reverse. New Year's at the Whispering Oak. Theo's domain pulsing. Countdown. Confetti rain. Liam's kiss deep. Promising. This year us, unpooled. Spring cycled faithful. Gallery buzz for Liam's PS1 nod. My promotion to lead designer, Indie Mag cover cred. We traveled. Weekend in Provincetown. Cape Beaches wind-whipped. Hand-holding defiant amid straits. Queer Haven, bikes rented. Lobster rolls devoured. Nights, lighthouse beams sweeping. Bodies entwined. Intimate, soul deep. Summer hummed. Coney revival. Ferris wheel creaking under stars. Cotton candy sticky. Full circle, Liam said. Boa feather tickling from a vendor. Echo of our meet. Fall's palette warmed our one-year post-storm. Vow renewal informal. Dr. Patel officiating in Central Park. Theo and Elena witnesses. Words simple. I see your scars. Love them still. Pull me close, always. Rings exchanged, silver waves interlocking. Life layered. Liam's teaching gig at Pratt, nurturing young artists. My book illustration deal, his waves inspiring. Conflicts arose, mundane. Rent hikes, creative blocks, but met head-on, therapy toolkit sharp. Betrayal's scar faded to silver. Victor's lesson in forgiveness's cost. Worth paid in growth. Humanistic close. No fairy dust, but earned light. Love as witness, not warden. One evening, Williamsburg Bridge. Sunset bleeding orange. Liam sketched skyline, me beside. Think we'd make it without the wreck? Doubt. Grin. Storms build ships. Kiss sealed. City humming below. Our anchor. Forever. Years later, looking back. That rainy night, bags packed, felt like end. But ends birth beginnings. We pulled through, together, seen whole.